Hello everyone, Professor Homie here. A while back we made a video on how to win at craps, and it was a really successful video that we had a lot of fun making, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And so I thought, I'm going to make a follow-up video on how to win at the roulette table. And I think you'll really like this system. It's a lot of fun, and it does help you to win. And maybe a few comments before we get to the actual system. First of all, just to make something really clear, no matter where you put your chip on the roulette table, if you're playing with an American table where there's a 0 and a double 0, the house has, what is it? I think it's about a 5.26% edge over you. And so the house generally does win more. Now, that having been said, two things that we can conclude from that. First of all, sometimes you see videos on YouTube that guaranteed always wins or whatever. No, it doesn't. You can't always win. That's just not a reality. The other thing, though, is that with this method, yes, the house does have the edge, but this is a way that you can use to really kind of counteract that edge. And I don't know, I think it works out really well, and I'd like you to give it a look and see what you think. I think you'll feel that if you try it, you'll feel that it works out really well as well. Okay, so that having been said, the other thing that we'll just mention briefly as far as criteria for my system, that one of my main criteria is I want the system to be fun. And why do I say that? Well, I've seen a lot of the systems on YouTube that, they have you put your chips on a few numbers, and if they hit, great. If they don't, then you just rebet on those same numbers a little bit more, and if they don't hit, then you rebet on those, or groups of, not necessarily single numbers, it might be groups of numbers you just keep betting on. I don't know, it just seems so repetitious, it doesn't seem very fun at all. And it seems so few and far between that you win, that part of it doesn't seem very fun at all either. So you'll see when you see how this system works that you do win more often than you don't. And you'll understand why when you see the system. But anyway, that was one of my criteria. The only other thing I'll mention real briefly, the same thing I mentioned in my craps videos that I make. This is a system that helps you to be better at winning a game. Roulette is a game. This is you can play online for free, or if you have a table and a wheel, you can play with your friends for free. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme or a big money-making scheme. I don't recommend gambling for money. You can lose a lot of money, and I really don't need anyone trying to chase me down that they've lost all their rent money and because they couldn't get the system to work for them. So anyway, play online for free, have a lot of fun, and just enjoy it. Okay, all that having been said, let's go ahead and talk about the actual system itself. So for that, I'm going to move our cheesy little Professor Homie guy here, and we're going to get started. Now, let's talk just briefly about the table. On an American roulette wheel table, there are 38 numbers. Sometimes we think like in terms of there being 36 plus 0 and double 0, but these are just two numbers on the table that, just like any of the other numbers they're a spot for the ball to drop into. So there's 38 spots for the ball to drop into. Now, if you were to roll, or roll, I'm talking dice, aren't I? If you were to spin 38 times, 99.9% of the time, you will not spin all the different numbers, 0, 0, and then 1 through 36. You'll have some where you'll spin maybe 2 or 3 of them. Boy, I keep saying roll, don't I? You'll have some where you spin a couple, maybe 3, 4 of them, and then you'll have some where you spin none of them. It's just the way it works, and we all know that, right? But say, for example, you were to spin 3,600 times, or 3,800 times, I'm sorry. Now you're going to get a little closer to your 100 times each. And if you were to spin 38,000 times, now you're going to get really close to your 1,000 times each. It does start to even out over the long haul. But over the short haul, that's just not the way it works. And that's what we start to use in this system. So if you notice on the board here, is I've been playing for a little bit, and I actually did that for a reason, to kind of make a point. Now notice this particular game on Wizard of Odds, it always starts you at $1,000, and I've been playing for a little bit, so we've got it up to 4,155. But anyway, one thing I want you to notice is that it never goes like we talked about, where it's like 1 through 38, or it never goes black, red, black, red, black, red, black, red. It never goes odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. I mean, look at this. It's odd, 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 even, odd, odd. Usually numbers, they kind of go in little groups one way, and then they go in little groups another way, and so forth. So how do we use that? Well, my recommendation is to pick a group of numbers in the middle that are your favorite numbers, and you wager on them. You put your chips on all your favorite numbers, and sometimes you have to add a few numbers, because what I'd like you to do is put chips on over half of them. And that's why I remember earlier I said you win more than you lose. Well, if you're putting chips on over half of them, you have the edge as far as winning. You do win more than you lose. And now, of course, when you do lose, you lose more chips than you win when you hit one of your numbers. I think that makes sense. I hope you understand the way I said that. I articulated that correctly. Anyway, you'll figure it out as we go here. So my thing is to go ahead and pick all your favorite numbers and add some, so you're up to about cover about 22 to 25 of the numbers, and that way you'll win more often than you lose, and yet you'll also win a fairly decent amount when you do win. And if you were to pick like 30 of them, yes, you'd win a lot, but when you lose a lot. So all right, and I think, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the one thing I will tell you is I'm going to wager way more aggressively than I normally would, just for the sake of this video, to expedite things and kind of move things along a little bit faster. Okay, so I think I've done all the explaining I need to, and again, to move or expedite things a little faster, I normally would start, with $1 on each one, and I did back when I started at 1,000. But then as you start to bank the house's money, or get a decent purse of the house's money, then you can be more aggressive, because the worst you can do is lose their money. You're not losing your money, right? So anyway, so let's start with $25 each, which again is way higher than normal. The only thing weird about this Wizard of Odds table, is that I'm going to put 50 here. And the reason I don't put one here and one here is this table has a little bit of a glitch to it, or this electronic one. If you win on the 0, it doesn't actually pay. It doesn't show up in the balance. I know there's just a little glitch in the system. So I'll put both of them in the middle, and those ones I have won the 0, and it does pay. Okay, so how am I going to pick favorite numbers? Well, it has nothing to do with luck or anything. It's just numbers you happen to like. So, for example, I kind of like to put my chips on the 4 corners. Why? Because it's symmetrical and it looks good. There's no other logical reason. I really like the number 3, which is covered. I really like the number 7. 8's nothing special to me, but for some reason in my mind it seems to hit more often than other numbers, so, and that's probably not true, but so I'll go with 8, 9, 11's a good number for me. I really like 13 and 17. 15 hits more, and 19 hits a lot in my brain, in my world, so 21's a favorite number of mine. 23's a favorite. Just have reasons to pick your number. Maybe your street address, or I have kids that are 24, 25, 27, not 27, I'm sorry, but 29 and 33. So I picked those numbers. 27 is one of my favorite numbers, so I picked that one. I really like 31. 35 seems to hit a lot. Anyway, just have something in your mind as to why you pick these numbers. But now you see I've got a lot of the table covered. And another one that seems to hit a lot is the number 6 in my world. Anyway, I'll pick that one. Although, notice down here we just recently hit a 5. I should have picked that one, but that's okay. All right, so what do we got here? We've got 2 of them here. So 2 are covered up here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 of them are covered. Okay, that's well over half. So chances are when we spin, we're going to hit one of these. Sometimes we don't, but if you do, you've got 600 on the table, and if you hit one, you're going to get 875. So you're going to win, and we did hit one. I saw it was the 17. Oh, the 11. Yeah, but that's still a favorite number of mine. So there we go. We bet like 600 bucks, and we got 875. So 275 bucks. So we're going to do this because that number, our group of numbers, you've now made your own group of numbers. Because your group of numbers are hitting, we're going to play it again. And we'll see what happens. And I don't know if there's a way that you can have it just real quickly go to the number or not. Okay, we got 8. That's another winner. So we won again. Anyway, I'm not a tech guy, so I'm sorry if the wheel's a little slow for you, but that's just the way it is. I'm in my 50s. I wouldn't know how to be technologically savvy to make it go faster, but it also knows I wouldn't know how to be it tells you I wouldn't know how to be savvy enough to cheat this, make a cheating video or something. These are actual spins that are happening. Okay, so I forget what we started at, but we are going up. We're at 47. Originally I started at 1,000. I mean, the system is working. So we'll hit a rebet and we'll hit a spin because our numbers are hitting. We'll just keep trying them. And again, we just keep doing them, and as soon as one of them doesn't hit, then we go to all the numbers that don't hit. And I hope it kind of makes sense as to why that we do this. I think we did 23. Yep, we won another one right there. 23 is one of those numbers that I spin on or hit on both ways. You know, some of them, like I say, you have to bid on over half of them. And so, like 8, I bid whether I'm bidding my not so favorable numbers or my favorite numbers. 9 the same way. 23 and 27 I bid every time, whether it's my favorable numbers or not. But you just got to determine what are your favorite numbers and then what are your not so favorite numbers, and then go back and forth depending upon what's hitting. So as soon as we miss, and actually I'm kind of hoping that it happens here soon, then I'll show you how we switch over to my not so favorable numbers. But let's do it again, and here we go. And again, this is way more aggressive. And you know what, sometimes just playing around, once I get a big purse where I have plenty of money to stick on the table, and we won again. Once I get a lot of money to stick on the table, then I'll start putting $50 per and $75 per number, and all of a sudden I'll have this balance up to $20,000. It's kind of fun, you know. But okay, so we won again, so we'll hit rebet. As long as these numbers are hitting, we're betting 600, and we're making 875 every time we hit. So let's do it again. And again, I'm sorry it takes a little bit of your time, but it's just kind of showing you how the system works. And even by now, you probably have kind of an idea. There's another winner. I'm actually kind of hoping we miss on one of these so I can show you how then we'll switch all the numbers over to the numbers that are not my favorite numbers. And I assume you guys can kind of see the reason why this system works for me and why it feels good. If the wheel does go in groups of numbers, here's what I see happening. A lot of times people pick their favorite numbers, and maybe put 10 chips on the table, and again we won. A lot of times you see people putting maybe 10 chips on the table, and then they spin and maybe it hits. Hey, great, you won, nice. And so, okay, let's put the 10 chips back on the same spot, or maybe even double that or whatever, and then you spin again, and you lose. Oh, well, Okay, and then you put your chips on the same place again, and you spin again, and you lose. And maybe sometimes people keep losing, and they keep figuring, well, it's got to come around to my way sometime. My thinking is, why keep waiting for it to come around your way? Go to the numbers that are hitting and hit those for a while until it comes around to your way, and then switch back. And again, I hope that made sense. So, okay, so finally we hit one that was not one of our favorite numbers, and we did lose. But all these wins, each one of these, we started for here at the 11. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 wins. They easily cover. I mean, we started at 37 or something. We're at 5,300. They easily cover this one loss. And even if we lose another one, it'll cover it, right? And again, I'm going to be way more aggressive than I normally would, but we'll put 50 there. And now my numbers that aren't so favorable are like 2, 4, 5. Oops, that was an accident, but that's all right. 5, 6, 8, and 9 I cover all the time. I do like those, but I cover them whether I go with my favorable numbers or my unfavorable numbers. 10, 12, 15, 14, 16. These are all kind of opposite numbers of the ones that we've been wagering on for a while now. And we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, 23 and 27 I do every time. 26 I'm not a big fan of. 28 and 30, 32, 34 and 35. What do we got there? 650 on the table because I accidentally did that. I'm just going to leave it at that then. All right, so we'll see if it does indeed switch over. And you know what? It might not, but again, we've covered well more than half of them. So the odds are in our favor to hit a winning number. And sure enough, we just did. And actually, because I accidentally put that 1 there, not only are we winning that, but we're winning half of that. So we're getting 1,300. So boom, we jumped up to $6,000. All right, so now again, it seems like maybe these off numbers and my lesser favorite numbers are hitting. Let's just keep going on it and we'll see how it goes. And you know what? When it switches back to my favorable numbers, I'll just start putting all my chips on those numbers. Anyway, we did hit again. I think I saw a 10, which is a winner for us. So good. And we're going to be up to, what are we up to? 6,200. So we'll rebet $650. And we'll hit the old spin. And we'll wait it out. So I'm sure by now you've kind of figured out how the system works. It's a pretty good system. Again, though, you win a lot because you've got a lot of money out there. And when you do win a lot, of course, it's more fun. But the same thing when you get that streak where you're just chasing, you go to your favorable numbers and it comes up a non-favorable one. You go to your non-favorable ones, it comes up a favorable one. You can kind of chase it and you can lose fast. So you can lose. I hope I'm being honest about this. But anyway, in this case, we hit the 5 that was covered and we won 1,300. So we're almost up to $7,000. So let's do it again. And we'll see where we go. How's the weather where you guys are at? I'm up in, oops, okay, so we won this one, which is going to be half of that, but we did win. I'm up in Wisconsin here, and it's the end of October when I'm shooting this video, like the 30th. Actually, it might even be the 31st now, because it just went past midnight. It's late at night. Anyway, the weather's been above average warm up here, which is kind of nice. We're enjoying that. But we do know winter is coming, right? So, all right, we're up at over $7,000. We'll do it once more. We may win, we may lose, but it still shows you the system. Yeah, winter's coming here. But if you live up here, there's things that are good about it and reasons you like it. Where are we at here? 23. Again, that's one of the numbers I bet on both sides. So at 1, we're doing really well. So this really demonstrates the system. I mean, I think we started at like 37 or something like that, right? And now we're up to 7,500. And it kind of showed you that they do go in groups. This was a little better than average. I will admit that and be honest about that we won several, then the one we lost, we switched over, and now we've won several again. I can do one more just to see, but yeah, this is a little above average how good it worked, but it does work, and again, it's a system that you can have a lot of fun at. So I suggest you give it a try and see what you think, and I think you'll like it. I think you'll see that it does work pretty well, and we just won again, so we're going to be up at $8,000. That makes the system look really good, doesn't it? So give it a try. Have lots of fun playing roulette, and thanks for watching. And yeah, I appreciate positive feedback if you want. Even constructive criticism is okay, just as long as it's constructive and not just. I know with the craps video I made, some people were like haters, and they just would say negative comments that I clearly explained were a risk in the explanation, but whatever. Some people just want to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and goodbye.